Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Since ancient times, people have felt that the world is arranged much more complexly than it seems. We see walls, streets, and people around us, but behind this visible film, there is always something else. Every culture and every nation has had its own names for these invisible neighbors. Spirits, demons, angels, lairs, house spirits, ancestors, jinn. But if you strip away all the religious labels, one thing remains: the sensation that someone else is always near a person. Jinn are among the most mysterious representatives of this subtle world. Eastern sages wrote about them, and fairy tales and scary stories were composed about them. They were described as beings made of fire without smoke, of pure energy that can take any form. Some saw them as wish-granters, others as tricksters tempting people, but essentially, it is the same idea. They live on a different frequency right next to us and are capable of interfering in human destinies. If you think about it, modern people encounter this daily. We just call it something else. Accidents, strange coincidences, the energy in a room, the feeling that someone is standing nearby. This is the very same contact. Our ancestors were simply more honest and called things by their names. They acknowledged that there were entities next to them. And it is important to understand, jinn and other beings are not fairy tales from children's books. This is a metaphor for those energy flows that truly exist. Some may not even doubt this because they themselves have felt pressure in a room, rustling where no one is present, or a sudden change of thoughts as if someone whispered them from nowhere. We are used to thinking that we are the masters of this world, that everything belongs to humanity. But the reality is that we are just one of many inhabitants of this planet. Yes, we are dense and visible, and they are subtle and invisible, but that does not make them any less real. And then the question arises, why are they here? Why do entities come into a person's life at all? To scare, to help, or to feed on our energy? We will try to reveal the answer to this further on. When we hear the word entity, most people immediately conjure an image of something frightening, dark, and hostile. That is because since childhood, we were taught to fear everything we don't understand. But the truth is that the world of subtle energies is structured just like our human world. There are different roles, different characters, and different tasks here. Entities are not always evil. Yes, there are those who feed on fear, anger, and hatred. They seem to be drawn to our low vibrations because that energy is tasty to them. But there are others, those who feed on joy, love, and inspiration. They become, as it were, allies who amplify the light in a person if they themselves are ready to hold that light. Imagine you walked into a room where there is music, laughter, and an atmosphere of joy. You feel a lift, you feel light, and you even start smiling for no reason. It is not just the people around you influencing you. It is also the field created by entities who responded to those vibrations. It is the same in reverse. When there is anger, envy, and aggression in a space, it fills up with beings that feed on this, and a person feels heavy, even though externally nothing seems to be happening. Therefore, saying all entities are evil or all entities are good is a mistake. There is no black and white in their pure form. There is attraction. You yourself, through your state, call to you those who are on the same wavelength as you. It is like a magnet. What you radiate is what you attract. And here is the key thought. Entities are a mirror of the human being. They amplify what is inside you. If you are in fear, they will amplify that fear. If you are in love, they will support your light. And one more important detail, they do not have power over you directly. Their power is in your attention. As long as you give them emotion, they grow. Stop feeding them, and they leave. A person often asks, how can I understand who is nearby? Is it someone good or someone who is destroying me? And there is no magic button, but there are signs that everyone feels. The first is the feeling after contact. A light entity always leaves a feeling of lightness. With it, you seem to breathe deeper. Tension fades away. A warm calmness appears in your heart. A dark one, on the contrary, leaves emptiness, anxiety, and powerlessness. After it, it feels as if something has vanished inside. The second is the thoughts and desires that come into your head. Light influence gives you ideas that inspire. You want to create. You want to embrace loved ones. You want to build and create. The dark one awakens thoughts of destruction, jealousy, resentment, anger, irritation. They are like a virus, not yours, but you feel them if you give in. The third is the body's energy. You may notice that in moments of light contact, the body relaxes and breathing becomes even. During a dark one, there is pressure in the chest, the throat tightens, the heart beats anxiously as if someone is pushing you in an unpleasant direction. And the fourth important sign is the vector of movement. Light always leads you to yourself, to your essence. It does not force, it does not pressure. It gently pushes you toward where you feel, this is the real me. The dark one leads toward dependency. It feels as if you can no longer exist without something or someone, and that is the whole simplicity of it. Entities do not hide. They manifest through your own feelings and reactions. Listen to yourself, and you will immediately understand who you are dealing with. Many think that encounters with entities are something mystical, distant, something for esoterics and magicians. But in reality, such encounters happen every day. We just don't always know how to recognize them. Remember, you surely had a person after talking to whom you felt as if you had run a marathon. There is no strength left. Your mood is at zero. Your thoughts are gray and everything starts falling out of your hands. This is one of the signs that a dark entity is working through them. It doesn't always look intimidating. Most often it is a normal person, a neighbor, a colleague, even a relative. But at some point, they become a conduit for someone else's energy. And has it happened the other way around? You talked to a person and felt as if you had breathed in life anew. You want to create, laugh, and you gain confidence and joy. This is the light influence. Through such people, light entities and angelic flows act. You can call it whatever you like. They amplify you. I know stories where people in difficult situations suddenly felt that someone invisible was nearby. For example, a driver who miraculously avoided an accident admitted that he felt a hand on his shoulder and a sharp urge to swerve. Or a woman who, in a moment of despair, heard inside, "Stand up, you can do it." And that is exactly what saved her life. These are all examples of light entities at work. But the same applies to dark ones. Some have admitted that suddenly they had a strong desire to do something stupid, to offend, to be rude, to lash out. And then came the realization. It wasn't like their character at all. That is exactly how a connection acts. We often think, this is just me. But if you pause and ask, where did this thought come from? Why do I feel it? Then it becomes clear that it is not yours. The first thing to understand is that any entity, light or dark, cannot enter your field without your permission, even if that permission is unconscious. Every time you hold on to anger for a long time, play grievances over in your head, complain, or judge, you're as if opening the door and saying, "Come in, help yourselves." Dark entities live on low vibrations: fear, envy, anger, guilt. When you feed these emotions, you become a magnet for them yourself. They come where there is food. Light ones, on the other hand, are drawn to where there is joy, love, and gratitude. They amplify your state and help you hold on to it. Protection is always simple and requires no rituals. It is in your state. Knowing how to say stop to yourself in time, you have already blocked the entrance. Learning how to switch from bad thoughts to what brings joy, you have already built a defense. Managing to be grateful even for difficulties, the entity simply won't be able to latch on. Another powerful way is to remember that you always have a choice: to be a battery for someone else's game, or to live from your own strength. When you consciously choose yourself, your light becomes so bright that darkness simply dissipates. Do not wait for everything to change by itself tomorrow. Start small. Notice your thoughts. Notice your feelings. Every thank you, every smile, is a brick in your fortress, where there is no place for parasites. Do not look at words, at promises, or even at images. Look at the state that remains with you after contact. If after communicating or thinking about something you feel warm, calm, and inspired, and you have a desire to live, this is light. It will never pressure, never force. It will always gently guide you and give you strength. If there remains emptiness, anxiety, apathy, anger, or heaviness, this is dark. Even if it comes in a beautiful guise, darkness always gives itself away through the fact that it robs you of your energy. Remember, nothing can penetrate you without your consent. And consent is not just words, it is attention, it is emotions, it is your internal focus. Where you look is where energy flows. Therefore, choose what to feed. You are the master of your reality. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.